Newspaper Publishers Associations let it be known it's looking like the White House or prison for Donald Trump as he heads into a Miami courtroom later today, facing 37 federal criminal charges that could land him in prison for as much as 400 years. We will discuss that this morning, of course. So, some other news is happening as well. Jared Stevens, a homeless and mentally ill man who allegedly committed an inexplicable crime, shouldn't spend the rest of his life in prison, a judge ruled yesterday. But the story isn't that simple. Wait until you hear the details and why another judge stepped in and did what you rarely see. That judge overruled another judge. Also, a Mississippi civil rights lawyer already suing a small town in that state was arrested for recording police activity. We will have details on that. And in a heartfelt ceremony, officials unveiled a newly renovated skate park on the outskirts of Sacramento, dedicating it to Tyre Nichols, the young black man who tragically was killed earlier this year in police violence. Also, the White House is preparing a huge Juneteenth concert today with folks like Jennifer Hudson and the Wu-Tang Clan. We discuss all of that and more this morning with the one and only Barrington Salmon.
Morning.
What's up, Barrington?
Not much. How you doing? It's
You
what do
know,
they call it?
I'm hungry.
Happy Indictment Day.
It's in is it well, yeah, indictment day part what, two?
Part
Three?
two. Part two.
Three and four is coming
Maybe
up.
part 15 for all we know.
Mm. You know, I invited my sister to first watch this morning, but she says she's too busy. You're never too busy to eat, right, Barrington?
Nope.
I mean, she turned me down. I'm not used to getting turned down.
Oh, that must be a wonderful feeling.
Well, when I was younger, I got turned down all the time.
Oh, but now that you're
But
the
when I
soul man, nobody turns you down.
right. But Dr. Nicole turned me down for first watch this morning, like
Mm,
prioritizing work over eating. I don't understand that concept.
I don't either because at this particular point in my life, most things come before work.
Look, you got to eat.
Yeah.
She said, rain check. Is
Rain
that
check.
a difference? Is there a difference in rain check and
There's
turning
a big
someone down?
difference between rain check and an outright rejection. So be thankful for the rain check.
Okay. All right. I'll accept the rain check then. Where's Mimi this morning?
She is resting.
Resting.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. You wore her out, huh? You tire her out.
Oh, her
You
job
put her to
title.
work.
I ain't got nothing to do with it. I just tuck
Nothing?
her. I just tuck her in bed. That's all.
Listen to that. Do you read a story?
Sometimes.
Oh, Barrington. Well, Barrington's a good husband. Look at that.
I'm a good husband. I finally learned.
You find
It took 3 times for me to figure this shit out. But it's okay. Every day you wake up is a new day to try to get it right.
Okay, I got you. Well, I tell you what, who can't get right is the former president.
Uh,
he spent he spent last night scrambling to find a qualified Florida lawyer willing to join his defense team as he faces the Justice Department's first prosecution of a former president. After touching down in Miami, Trump spent the afternoon interviewing prospective lawyers and meeting with his legal team, along with other top advisors, to discuss the case in which he is accused of mishandling classified documents and obstructing the government's efforts to retrieve them. Several prominent Florida attorneys declined, Barrington. They declined. They said, no way, we're not touching
yeah,
this.
but he's a loser. He's already lost the case. And it's so interesting because all of his cult followers are running around talking about he's been targeted and da, 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 da. He did this to himself. He talks too much, and you know I guess he didn't expect um, his lawyer to take notes and tape record his conversations after he told him to help him break the law.
You know,
It's just nuts, bruh.
here's what's interesting, and I know we have a some media to show on this. All the people with him that have been all of his everybody acquainted with him in any type of important role with him has been arrested, indicted, charged with something. Um, so it stands to reason why why he's in trouble.
Yeah. But I mean, everything that he touches dies. Everything that he touches dies. I saw a list of all of the people that I mean, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, um, uh, Mike Flynn,
Yep.
even though he pardoned him, all of them, all of them have broken the law.
Yeah.
And the weird thing to me is that I still can't understand why, given his track record, that anybody would want to be associated with him. Like the dude Nada, that
Mhm.
that is his
Yes.
co-conspirator. He's not going to help him to get out of his jam, the jam that he created. So I don't. But I guess that's one of the features of being of having a cult following.
Well,
You just mindlessly do whatever he wants you to do.
let's take a look at this.
Okay.
Is it possible that an American president has his campaign chairman arrested, that's Paul Manafort, and his deputy campaign chairman arrested, that's Rick Gates, and his campaign manager arrested, Steve Bannon, and his national security advisor arrested, that's Mike Flynn, and his personal lawyer arrested, that's Michael Cohen, and his longtime political advisor arrested, that's Roger Stone, and his campaign foreign policy advisor arrested, that's George Papadopoulos, and his inaugural chairman arrested, that's Tom Barrack, just arrested today, his inaugural vice chairman arrested, Elliot Brody, his private company indicted, the Trump Organization, the chief financial officer of his private company arrested, Alan Weisselberg, his foundation/charity shut down as a fraud. That's the Trump Foundation. His quote unquote school shut down after a fraud suit settlement, Trump University. And not to mention, during his one single term as president, not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 of his cabinet secretaries were referred for federal criminal prosecution in one term. All 5 of those cases, all 5 Trump cabinet secretaries, it was the Trump Justice Department that refused to bring criminal charges despite those criminal referrals. But widen the lens a little bit. Meanwhile, the lawyers who brought the lawsuits that the former president wanted after the election to try to get the courts to somehow overthrow the election results and somehow keep him in office, those lawyers who were acting on his behalf are all facing court sanctions and potential disbarment in at least 4 different jurisdictions. His other personal lawyer, not the one who already went to prison, the other one has just had his law license suspended in both New York and in Washington, D.C. for his role in making those same false claims before the court. Oh, and he himself was impeached twice. That's a record. And he's personally facing a criminal investigation under Georgia state law for interfering with elections officials in that state. We're also awaiting a potential second round of indictments derived from these allegations of a years-long multi-million-dollar criminal tax fraud scheme that's already led to the indictment of his company that bears his name and its longtime CFO.
Yep.
And here's the thing. It's
The Trump criminal enterprise.
yeah, you talk about organized crime.
Yeah.
The way, and that was the voice of Rachel Maddow, right?
Yeah.
The way she just laid it out, and it's just facts. It's like facts, right?
Yeah.
And certainly, you mentioned the other guy that was arrested there, who was actually allegedly trying to hide the content,
Yeah.
the boxes and stuff. Why do these things for somebody who, whether you like them or not, listen,
Or maybe they're brainwashed.
yeah. I mean, it's unreal.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because like when he came into office, they said there were 2,500 lawsuits against him from businesses, small businesses, and other entities that had done work for him at his hotels and casinos, and he refused to pay them. My thing is, if you know that there are 2,500 lawsuits. Why would you go to work for him?
Austin writes in, these lawyers have a savior complex and all end up getting cremated, but not him. But you know what's interesting? I think we is that the video we have? Hillary Clinton was being interviewed, and it was the greatest interview ever. And whether you support him, whether you if you had any type of sense of humor or any type of sense of wow, reality, the Hillary Clinton interview, and I don't remember who she was. I think we have the video, but they were asking her about the documents and stuff like that. You remember her thing was he wanted to prosecute her for emails,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But the irony is that because of her case, he is the one that made this a felony.
And
Having
that's
possession of these
yeah.
classified documents a felony. So he basically is going to fall on his own sword.
Well,
You know,
let's
'cause
take
they
a look
always
at
say
this
when you
other.
go after someone, dig two graves.
Let's
He's
take a look
not,
at this other video we got, Barrington.
huh?
Let's take a look at this other video we
Okay.
got. This is something.
I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. And isn't that amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look, this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. Pages long, look. Wait a minute. Let's see here. Yeah. I just found this totally wins my case, except it's like highly confidential. Yeah. Secret. This is secret information. Look at this. He's attacking. By the way, isn't that incredible? Yeah. I was just thinking, because we were talking about it, and I said you wanted to attack Iran. You did. This was done by the military and given to me. I think we can probably, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try. Declassify it. Figure out it, yeah. See, as president, I could have declassified it. Yeah. And now I can't. This is still a secret. Yeah. And now we have a problem. Isn't that interesting?
You talk about, listen, case closed, case right there.
Yeah.
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Yeah. And it flies in the face of him saying that he could declassify things with his documents with his mind, right?
I mean, here he is sharing military secrets on tape. He's on tape.
The thing for me is that I wonder if they'll ever found out if he sold that information, because that is the type of information that you would sell.
That is, and in fact, I think when we had Attorney Tarver on, I think when you dig into these charges, I think that's where that what is that charge that one of the charges say again? Espionage charge. I think that has something to do with that. I think that has something to do with him. And I think what they were intimating, we'll learn a whole lot more today. What they were intimating was that if he sold anything, it was to Kim Jong-un in North Korea.
Okay.
But we'll find out a whole lot more. Could be, and it wouldn't surprise us if Vladimir Putin, he and Vladimir, traded secrets, or at least he gave up secrets to him anyway.
Yeah.
But here he is on tape, Barrington. And that's not the only tape that is out there.
He got all types of tape, but that's the thing. He talks too much.
That's Run DMC song, Power 96 says.
As Attorney Tarver said, who would want to have a client like this? No matter what you tell him, shut your mouth, keep quiet, do X, Y, Z. He's going to do what he wants. So why would you bother?
Yeah, and like Austin says, brace yourself for the additional details that Jack Smith will share at trial. And again, he's facing up to 400 years in prison for all of these charges. And he still has other indictments looming.
Well, here's the thing. I think that one of the things we always have to keep in mind is that the Justice Department has been so squeamish about the idea of charging, indicting, and sentencing a former president.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to save him. And I interviewed a former assistant state attorney who said that he thinks that they just want him to know that he can be touched, so that they're going to convict him, sentence him, and then pardon him.
Well,
Because
so wait a minute, but here's the rub on that last part. I mean, I can see the sentence. I can see the sentence being suspended.
Yeah,
but I don't see the pardon from this administration.
Well, he said he thinks that he'll get a pardon from whoever's president, Democrat or not, because they're all about protecting the institution and all that foolishness. But for me, he is such an egregious example of someone who doesn't give a damn. He's going to be 77 years old tomorrow. He's lived for 3/4 of a century and has never been held accountable for any goddamn thing. Anything. So, as far as I'm concerned, he needs to go to jail.
Yeah, and when you think about it, and you might be 100% right on the whole thing. When I think my knee jerk was this administration is not going to pardon him, but when you just take a second to parse things out, Biden, just as much as anyone, is one of those institutionalists.
Yep.
And I actually, the more I think about it, I could see Biden, if Trump, and so here's the other part of it.
Country.
Say again.
For the good of the country.
For the good of the country, I could see that.
As they would say.
Yeah. Well, and then you see all the protests, and then the violence, right? And Trump is ratcheting it up a lot of this, and all his people. He called Jack Smith deranged.
He's gone after Jack Smith's family too.
He's going after his family. It's like what's his name in New York? He's gone after Craig, and he and then he got his people. Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake says
they have some dude. What is his name? I think he's a representative from Louisiana.
Yeah, Clay Higgins.
Clay Higgins.
Yeah.
What an asshole. What an idiot.
He said, let's tell the people what he said in case they missed it. Clay Higgins, the representative out of Louisiana, Republican, of course, MAGA. He says he called on Trump supporters to, quote, prepare for war. He says, buckle up. 150K, know your bridges, which is referring to military scale maps. And then Arizona Rep Andy Biggs said, hold my beer. He said, we have now reached a war phase. Eye for an eye. Carrie Lake, her crazy self.
To her, and 75 million people that voted for Trump, and they all are card-carrying members of the NRA.
Exactly.
So when does this reach to the level of being actionable by law enforcement? When people start dying, is that when they're gonna do something about this? Because I guarantee you, if it was a black person doing and saying that type of shit, they'd be in prison already.
Could you imagine one of Obama's people, or a member of the Congressional Black Caucus saying something like this?
Yeah. They'd be getting some visits from the FBI.
But yet there's been absolutely nothing. William Barr, who, he's this guy, but he still says, he says that if even half of this is true about Trump,
he's toast.
He says, I mean, it's a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning. And the idea of presenting Trump as a victim here, a victim of a witch hunt, is ridiculous. And that's from him.
But you know what, Stacey? Barr was one of his enablers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Barr is a part of the reason why we're in this predicament in the first place.
Yeah,
because he lied about the Mueller findings, and as Rachel Maddow said, every time that there was anybody that had committed a crime, his DOJ killed it.
Yep.
So he needs to shut up and go sit in a corner somewhere
with a dunce cap, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy! So later today, Donald Trump will be arraigned in Miami. There's a circus in town already. I've been watching video of what's been going on down there. I saw a video, Barrington. I gotta mention this only because people got, everybody has their right. This country gives everybody the right to demonstrate, to protest, or
Some
whatever.
people, not everybody.
Say again.
Some people, not
Well,
everybody.
okay, so you got the MAGA guys out there with their Confederate flags and all that stuff, and this one black guy who has a derogatory sign on his shirt against Trump and carrying an anti-Trump sign. This one black guy, random black dude,
Yeah.
and they're coming at him, and they're getting ready to pummel him. But he's saying, y'all better back up. I got a gun. I got a gun. It's like, what are you doing there, dude? What are
No,
you doing there?
no, I don't. Here's the thing, Stace. We're dealing with a bunch of bullies.
Oh, exactly. But if you're
And
gonna come, you got to come strong. You
well,
can't
yeah,
go.
he should have come with. He should have come with some backup.
Right. He's the skinny, but you'll find this guy. He's out there. The cops come, and they talk to him, and he tells them he's been protesting Trump 7 years, et cetera, et cetera. But come on, dude. It's like walking into a KKK meeting
But you have some people.
somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
But you have some people who are fearless, Stacy.
Listen, he was backing up when all those guys coming at him. He was backing up, and he was breathing a sigh of relief when those police officers rolled up. But you can't do that.
He should have given them something to go away with.
A going away gift.
Yeah, give them a parting gift. That's the only thing they understand, bruh.
Yeah,
That's the only thing they understand.
It's just terrible. The state of America is. This is not the America. Even from the Nixon, Ford, Carter years. It's not the America even from the Reagan years. This America is a disgrace.
Yeah, you see this? You see what Greer put up?
I'm going to serve 2 terms, one in federal prison and one in New York State prison. It's the theater of the absurd.
But this what we're seeing is the crumbling of society. There are more than a few people that call it end of empire. So
I'll never forget.
This is what it looks like. And I mean, I've said that anybody who in the past had talked about what they would do if they were in the civil rights movement and now they have an opportunity to show what they would do, because we're back in this period of regression where white fear and white hypocrisy is trying to pull the country back to a time when they were in control of everything.
Listen, it rings in my ear to this day. My favorite teacher ever was in 6th. There's the guy. There he is.
Yeah.
you gotta bring
his gun.
He doesn't. It turns out he didn't have a gun. He got scared and said he had a gun as they got more and more aggressive. But see, and as much as I talk about him, look at those guys who are coming at him. If they were by themselves, they would.
Them little Peckerwoods. They're only gonna do that because they're in a group. If it was one-on-one, they wouldn't have that much moxie. Please.
Right, and that's the point. But what I was gonna say, just to further that thought about how this country is, the world itself is just it's a sewer now. But my 6th grade teacher, George Watson, I'll never forget Mr. Watson ever. He would talk about this. I'm 11 years old, and he's talking about where this is headed, and he kept saying it. And he says, when I'm done, when I retire, I'm going back home to Jamaica. And that's where he went when he retired.
Yeah.
He says, you can have this America. She is horrible, and it's going to get worse. Your kids are going to see this. And everything that man said back in 1979, 1980 was 100% spot on.
He was prescient, Stacy. He saw it.
Oh my God. All of this. I mean, this man, while he didn't, we knew Donald Trump because we were in New York, but I mean, it wasn't Donald Trump he was naming, but it was Donald Trump.
I love that sign.
Well, you understand that language, don't you?
I do. But that's the appropriate language for a piece of trash like Trump. That is. And I
Yeah,
love it
this
that I
stuff.
don't have to say it.
Yeah, this stuff is just watching how this has unfolded.
Yeah.
It's I think again, I just keep thinking about Mr. Watson and how,
But
like you said,
Stacey, I think a part of this too. Sometimes it seems like there's so many different bits and pieces.
David Youngblood said, "We knew you would like that sign, Barrington."
Oh, of course. Of course. I am consistent.
Very much so.
But the thing that I've watched with more annoyance than amazement is that these people, nobody knows how to deal with this dude. The media's never known how to deal with him.
The media can't decide if they like him or love him or hate him or with him or against him. And the media created this. CNN created this.
No,
MSNBC created this.
They didn't create it.
They did. They pushed it.
They pushed it.
They pushed it. Yeah, they didn't create it. You're right. They pushed
because
it.
People tried to act like there wasn't racism and fascism before Trump. Trump just magnified all this. So all of the elements were already there.
Yeah.
And he
knew enough to exploit it.
Of course. Yeah.
And like I said, CNN, they all are complicit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Fox was just Fox. Fox was always Fox.
Yeah.
You knew that they were hateful. You knew Fox was this and that, but MSNBC, CNN, they all had a role in this.
An opponent of Trump's. And CNN may not recover from this foolishness.
Yeah, CNN is done.
I think CNN is done.
CNN is absolutely done. They're cooked.
So,
and how about this? And I'm glad Greer brought this up. Power 96 is 100% agree. Works with CNN and embrace these MAGAbility cult members. They certainly did. And then that foolishness from with that Trump town hall foolishness from a couple of months ago or whenever it was, that only cemented it. Further cemented it. I said, I should say,
but lost his job.
Yeah, he knew he was cooked too. He knew he was.
Oh no, they said he didn't. They said he was surprised.
What, really? Because he had just announced. He just before they canned him, he apologized for being what a jerk.
Yeah,
basically. But Greer mentions what about Trump snubbing Marjorie Taylor Greene last week?
What did he do?
I think she she came out to there's the picture. She came out there to meet his plane.
And he ignored her.
Shut her down.
Poor thing.
Humiliated. You love to see it.
But anybody who thinks that he cares.
Look. I'm looking at it on delay, but you got to show it again.
And look on her face.
God, did you see her face when he totally
ignored her? Yeah. Hey,
gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I don't know when they're gonna learn.
Look. Here we go. Watch. As he comes into the frame and look.
What a pity.
That's Pulitzer worthy right there.
He's a pig, man.
Come on.
He's such a disgusting human being.
Well, just think about she gives the impression, and I hate to say it, she gives the impression that she has I'm going to use this word, serviced him in every way, shape, or form.
But she has tried.
I think she probably succeeded in every way, shape, or form, and now she's
she's tossed it
side chick, stay over there.
Yeah. I don't know when they're gonna learn.
They're never gonna learn.
I don't know when they're gonna learn.
They'll learn when they'll learn when like these January 6th people, they'll learn when they get locked up and they're sitting in jail waiting for that pardon, waiting for that call from Trump. And it never comes.
It never comes.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about the implications of all this in 2024. And I just read before I came on here that they took the case from Eileen Cannon and gave it to the arraignment and gave it to a magistrate.
Today?
Just this morning.
Before I'm behind. How did I miss that?
Well, I'm a news hound, so.
So am I. I have to be. Have
So
you seen Black Pressure? No, I mean,
because because
have you seen the Newswire?
yeah.
It's like somebody said your blog. It's not my blog. It doesn't belong to me. I just contribute. I'm the senior correspondent. I'm supposed to have those articles on
Maybe they think that you're Trump. It's my documents. It's my blog, right?
I don't have a blog. You know, I don't have time for a blog.
Yeah, I know
But
you
anyway,
because you're doing everything else.
I wish you know, well, yeah, I do you know what? I do my best to earn my paycheck.
Yes, you're an honorary Jamaican with 15 jobs. We understand.
And I'm a very Jamaican. Hey, I'm not complaining about that part.
Yeah, right.
But so tell me, Barrington, come on, you don't leave me in
I just
suspense.
saw the headline that said that they gave the case to the arraignment to a magistrate.
Very
So
good.
I didn't read any details, but I had heard that Jack Smith's people were contemplating asking for Eileen Cannon to be removed based on what she did earlier. So that's going to be an issue because she just going to slow walk it until 2024.
Well, and worse.
And worse.
Yeah. But David says, yeah, just to handle the plea, they put a magistrate in.
Yeah.
She cannot sit on that bench for this case.
But
they have to.
Clarence Thomas, Stacey. She's the only one that can recuse herself. They can't force her to.
I know. And that this is the problem. But they have to move mountains to get her off this. They have to whatever it takes.
Yeah.
They have to, because just out of the appearance, and that's sometimes, you know, I know appearances is not everything, but just out of the appearance of fairness, they have to remove her.
Yeah.
She has to recuse herself, put it that way.
But I would assume that she would be very careful.
You think?
Yeah,
careful in the other case.
But she was reversed twice by the 11th Court of Appeals.
Yeah,
and they said they're watching her. So she would have to be more careful than she was before, because now there's a track record.
Yeah, no judge. I don't care who they are. No judge wants to be reversed.
Yeah, I know.
Oh gosh, and speaking of, well, that's a great segue into this story, Barrington. We'll see what happens with Trump later today, but and those in Miami, we got, you know, and then we have a Miami Times down there, and then next door is the West Side Gazette in Fort Lauderdale. Y'all be careful down there. Jared Stevens is a homeless and mentally ill man who allegedly committed a crime in which a judge sentenced him to 150 plus years in prison for. However, another judge overruled that judge and said he shouldn't spend the rest of his life in prison. Miami-Dade Circuit Judge, and this is Miami, William Altfield undid a sentence handed down 5 years ago by a different judge who sentenced this man Stevens to a minimum of 150 years with 120 days in jail for good measure. Stevens' delusional behavior before and during his trial had stymied his defense, but the new disposition is not a get out of jail free card, they said. Under the new sentence, Stevens faces 10 years with credit for time served, followed by 11 years of probation on the condition that he spend the first 2 years of that probation in mental health facilities. By the end of the second year of probation, he will be eligible to move to Arizona, where he could live with his family. So here's the story. This guy had a complete meltdown. He's homeless, had a complete meltdown. He had his family didn't know where he was or anything. His family's in Arizona. And he melted down. He went into a bank. He had a laptop and he started yelling. He has child porn on it. And he was eventually arrested. And Judge Veronica Diaz, she shocked defense attorneys and prosecutors when she signed off on she sentenced him to 150 years. He had defended himself. He just wasn't listening to lawyers. It was a whole debacle in which he should have been remanded to some sort of psych facility from the get-go. I mean, it was a crime what the judge did, really.
Yeah.
They finally, when family, what happened eventually was when family found out about this, which was more recently, that they found out, they saw that this guy's incarcerated somewhere, and they reached out, and the court realized, oh, he does have a family. Like that should matter, and you're sentencing him 150 years.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, his behavior was really outlandish. But they say it was indicative of a person that was going through a mental health crisis. He refused to cooperate with lawyers. He made it impossible to document his troubled childhood or bring in family members to speak on his behalf. And in 2016, he was 25 years old. He attempted to walk out of it was a Best Buy store this time, with a laptop that he didn't pay for. Well, when he was confronted, he pulled his own laptop out of his backpack and declared that he had child pornography on it. He sat on the floor and he started showing images of children until police arrived and arrested him. The state originally, get this, Barrington, they originally offered him a 3-year deal, like prison term, as
Mhm.
well as treatment in a program for mentally disordered sex offenders.
Mm.
He was estranged from his family, as we said, he was just uttering gibberish or gibberish, or however you say
Gibberish.
it, in open court. And he refused to cooperate with his attorneys. He rejected the plea deal,
Mm.
and he was convicted. And the judge sentenced him to 150 years plus 21 years, recommended by the prosecution. Prosecution recommended 21 years, and they gave him. She gave him 150 years.
Well, this
So,
this is indicative of the criminal injustice system, where it pays to incarcerate everybody. Folks who are addicted to drugs, who should be in a treatment facility, they put in prison. Folks who are mentally ill, people who are homeless. This is an indictment of the judge,
mhm.
but also of the system. And it's as if nobody is willing or able to do anything to change this time. And I mean, this is just what we know about.
Right, right.
Think about all the other cases that are churning through the system where they're just destroying people's life by putting them in prison and or jail. It's
Yeah.
madness. And
Just
in
throwing him away.
actuality, what they should be doing is throwing that woman off the bench. She shouldn't judge. She shouldn't be a judge in another case because she ain't got no sense and no compassion.
None.
So she shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a tragic thing. I mean, it was just well, it was a travesty, really, of
Yeah.
justice. I mean, come on,
But it's
just
unusual. It's unusual for another judge to overthrow
very much
the
so.
case of a fellow judge. I've never heard that before.
Well, and his family. So he got some, but not a lot of mental health treatment in jail,
Mm.
and got enough. He got to a point where he was able to finally write a letter to his mother, and that's when they found out
Where
what
he
was
goes.
going on.
Yeah.
And the family rushed to Miami. They got a lawyer, they got hearings, and they were able to speak on his behalf.
Yeah.
Um, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Mhm.
So,
So he shouldn't serve any jail time.
well, he's going to be now he's going to be in a mental health facility for 2 years,
Years.
and then he'll be able to go home,
Okay.
which is just.
Yeah, it is.
But like you said, you rarely see it. Unfortunately, this is a rarity,
Mhm.
in which justice is finally done the right way.
Yeah.
Another judge stepping in after hearing all the facts and saying, "Look, this is ridiculous."
Yeah. Yeah.
So down in Mississippi, I don't for the life. I know we love our Dawn Montgomery. She loves her Mississippi. For the life of me, and nothing, we have two great newspapers in Jackson, right? The Advocate and the Mississippi Link. Jackie Hampton is down there. Deanna's down there, Tisdale. They do phenomenal work. I know they love their hometown. But for the life of me, I just cannot understand anybody of color wanting to go down there. It is one of those things where you just feel like you're just walking into slavery.
Yeah.
It's just like you're just surrendering to slavery. I mean, Mississippi it needs a lot of it needs. You know what? Here's what Mississippi needs: support the black press in Mississippi, support the Mississippi Link, support the Jackson Advocate, because they're telling it like it is. But civil rights lawyer Jill Collin Jefferson found herself on the wrong side of the law after recording a traffic stop involving officers from the very police department she is suing in federal court. The arrest has drawn attention to the ongoing struggle for justice and police reform in the wake of the Black Lives Matter protests that have swept the nation. Jefferson is the president of Julian, a prominent civil rights organization, and they filed a federal lawsuit against the Lexington, Mississippi Police Department on behalf of a group of city residents just last year. Her attorney, Michael Carr, revealed that Jefferson was apprehended over the weekend while documenting officers' actions during a routine traffic stop. Despite numerous attempts to obtain comments from Lexington police, they have failed to respond to any comments. But this incident has occurred just 9 days, Barrington, that Assistant Attorney General Christian Clark from the U.S. Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division visited that area to engage with community members regarding allegations of police brutality. This is obviously retribution.
Yeah. They don't care. Listen, for years, 4 years, I think the saving grace for a lot of us is cell phone video to document what's been going on all this time and nobody knew.
Yeah.
It is retribution. And I mean, listen, you talk to these cops, you see all these different things on social media, these different incidents on social media. They're arrogant and they believe that they're above the law. And the fact remains that unless they get put in prison for what they're doing, it doesn't matter. Because whatever they do, taxpayers are paying for whatever settlements that the plaintiffs get. And until that money is coming out of police department budgets or out of police officers' pockets, the ones who are causing these problems, it won't change. It won't change.
Yeah.
I mean, if with Kristen Clark announcing the investigation,
Yep.
perhaps this will give the DOJ some impetus to stamp down on these cops.
Yeah. And they finally released the police chief Charles Henderson finally agreed to release her without requiring a bond. But she said she was staying in jail because she refused to pay the $35 processing fee that the jail demanded to secure her release because she thought her arrest was unfair and unconstitutional. That right there is another part of this criminal justice system that needs to change as well. Why you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty?
Yeah.
Right? Why does she have to pay even 35? People say, "Oh, just pay the $35 and go home." No,
I wouldn't pay it.
And she refused.
Yeah.
Because paying it is almost an admission.
It is.
And she's like, no.
Did you know Lawrence Giat?
Oh.
Lawrence Giat was a civil rights activist. He was involved with the freedom rights. He's from Mississippi. He got arrested and put in Parchman prison.
Oh gosh.
And every time that I talked to him about his experiences, he said that there's a United States, there's Mississippi, United States, there's a 50 states, and then there's Mississippi. Right?
Yeah.
So Mississippi is a special case.
Yeah. Look, you got to be something special to live there as a person of color, particularly a Black person.
Yeah. And based on what this video is saying, she's exposing them.
Right.
So
And that's the
as far
problem.
as I'm concerned, she's lucky that she ain't end up dead, like Sandra
Sandra
Bland.
Bland. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. She is exposing them. She talked about how they've been taking black folks in custody,
Yeah,
beating the men, raping the black women, sexually assaulting the black women.
yeah.
Um, and there's been no denial of that.
No,
At least I haven't seen a denial of it, I should say.
because they don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter to them.
They don't think it matters. And I mean, there have been so many cases that I've seen of I mean, I remember I did a story maybe 4 or 5 years ago of some New York City cops that just grabbed some women, stopped them, had police stops, had sex with them. And then when the women complained, the department said that they don't have any regulations governing that.
Wow.
So this is something that's been going on.
Yeah. Goodness grief. So they have no regulations against that, is what
No.
you say.
And so they didn't charge the dudes, they let them go.
Mm. Wow.
And that when that happened, then you had civil criminal justice advocates beginning to work to push to make sure that anytime that happened that they'd be charged with rape.
Oh, in prison, if a officer, male or female, has sex with a prisoner, male or female, it's automatically considered rape because someone in custody
Yeah,
is like a child almost. You have no, they can't consent.
yeah.
And so even if they willingly, if an inmate willingly, you can't, because you can't say seduce a guard. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But Rikers Island in New York, they have special cells and places where the officers go and have sex with inmates.
Yeah.
I'm told,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but what willingly or unwillingly, it's still rape
It's a
because
rotten, dirty system, man.
yeah,
And and that's why you laugh at me all the time when I say burn it down.
burn it down.
Burn it down and start fresh.
The roof
Because
is on fire.
it can't be reformed. It
No.
can't be reformed because they don't want to reform it. And the United States is spending $80 billion a year on so-called criminal justice
Goodness grief.
when there's so many other things they could be doing. 2.3 million people in prison, mostly Black and Latino, increasing numbers of women.
Yeah, increasing number of women. Yep. You think about that. How many people you said is how much money they're spending?
2.3 million people.
No, how much money?
Most of any country in the world, even more than China and
Right.
India, which have more
But
than 1 billion people.
but how much money did you say?
$80 billion a year.
80 billion. And how much money do they spend on defense spending?
The last bill that just passed
Mm-hmm.
was $769 billion.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because with the Defense Department bill, they had an amount that they asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Congress put more money on it,
But
and
more
then
money.
Biden put more money on it.
Yeah. So my point, all this money for military, all this money for locking people up, and then then you got homeless people everywhere. You got the situation we talked about with the young man there. It just
Homeless
shows you.
people. The United States has the highest priced medical system in the world.
And they and all right, and all that money that comes in from, and you can't give folks reparations.
Reparations.
We can't afford reparations. Yeah, right.
Well, Mitch McConnell said that we gave you Obama, so that's the only reparations Black folks gonna get.
Don't get me started. Barrington, let's turn to California. In a heartfelt ceremony, officials unveiled a newly renovated skate park on the outskirts of Sacramento, dedicating it to Tyre Nichols, a young Black man we know tragically was killed a couple of months ago by police. He was an ardent
A couple of months ago,
skateboarder.
6 months ago, January.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, it's a couple of months. Come
Oh, okay.
on. Time flies. Come on. and
Yeah.
you're not even having fun, it still flies.
I know.
But the city officials and a diverse group of people gathered to pay tribute to Tyre Nichols. It was a ribbon cutting ceremony at the skate park. It was once a cherished sanctuary for him, and
Yeah.
now it bears his name as a testament to his passion for skateboarding and the impact on the community. He, of course, was a resident of Memphis, Tennessee. He relocated there with his mother and stepfather just before COVID-19. He was an inspiring photographer. He found solace and inspiration in capturing the beauty of landscapes and sunsets through his lens. But it's unfortunate that these things happen after death. The park naming his honor, but it's also, a really fantastic thing to have done to show that his life did mean something.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it's important rather than just lamenting about the fact that he's gone. We do need to memorialize him, even though there's great sorrow that their lives are snatched away by these animals. 5 black former police officers from Memphis, Tennessee, who were part of the Scorpion Squad, which is supposed to be an anti-drug unit, and all they did was terrorize primarily black people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his family filed a $500 million lawsuit.
$500 million. Yeah.
So I hope they get every penny.
But hope they get every cent.
But again, it's not coming from the department or the offices. It's coming from us taxpayers.
And once again, what is it? Qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity.
Got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
At least that's one thing that they got to get rid of.
Yeah.
But like you said, because as you said earlier in this program, it cannot be reformed.
No. And the police unions have too much power. And every time that they negotiate these contracts, they negotiate things into proposals and measures into it to protect police officers. And they keep on trying to tell us that it's only a few bad apples, but that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well,
there it is. A park named after Tyre Nichols in Sacramento, his original hometown.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. So Barrington, so when I hear the song by Lionel Richie All Night Long, he always goes into his like Caribbean, Jamaican like voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not Jamaican, right?
No.
So
American.
is that Jamaican? You know the song I'm talking about. Is that Jamaican or just another?
It's more Caribbean rhythm than specifically Jamaican.
Okay.
Although a lot of people believe that the Caribbean is just Jamaica, which is
I know, which is crazy.
But
yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But the reason I bring it up because it's gonna be a party all night long at the White House. Jennifer Hudson and the Wu-Tang Clan is gonna be there.
Okay.
Oh, they're gonna have a big Juneteenth party today.
Are you going?
I'm not going. Mark Mahoney called me yesterday. Mark Mahoney is a photographer for the Black Press folks, and he's gonna be there. He's like, Chief, you need to come. Put somebody on there that I really want. He's excited about meeting from the Wu-Tang Clan. What's his name? Playing come on, not Redman, Method Man.
Method Man.
Method Man. He's excited about it. My wife likes Method Man.
Yeah.
So I should go and like cripple him or something so she can stop liking him.
Oh God.
Put him in a kneecap or something.
But you better stay in your lane.
In my lane.
Because I'm sure he's gonna be rolling deep. It ain't just gonna be him.
You got that right.
Yeah. So
I can say, hey, what's going on? I was on the plane one time. I took my brother Monty to California, and Monty's a big Wu-Tang Clan fan, and so we get on the plane, and who gets on right beside us is Method Man and Redman, and my brother is losing his mind on this plane trip. Yeah, and he's talking with them, and I was like, look, he forgot I was even around. I was like, wow. My brother, he was just in a zone, and my brother My brother is a big dude. My brother he's the only one in the family that's known to be knocking people out. We're peaceful people, but Monty knocks folks out.
But you always have to have one who will knock people out.
Just, I mean, look,
You have to always have one. You can't just all be peaceful.
I guess not, because
Yeah.
he's otherwise a peaceful guy, but you can't rub him the wrong way or
Yeah.
rub his loved ones the wrong way, because he fish fly and he's always the last one standing.
Yeah, that's good.
Always, he puts people to sleep.
That's what all
He rocks them to sleep.
that's what all black people need to be doing. Because they ain't gonna mess with you when they know that there's something that there's an enforcer there.
When we was younger, we used to call him Wildcat. We used to call him Wildcat. They used to say Wildcat.
Is he your older brother?
Say Wildcat, huh?
Is he your older brother?
No, he's a year younger than me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, listen.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, but we was on that plane and the whole trip, it's a 6-hour flight going to LA, right? Goodness grief, this dude, and they talking like they're old friends too. They were just hanging out on the plane, him and Redman and Method Man. I was like, oh,
It's a great memory.
Yeah. It's like, oh, snap. But I draw the line though when I talk, some conversations you have with your wife and you ask questions that you don't really want to know the answer, but you're curious. So
why would you do that? I don't ever ask a question that I don't want to answer.
So we get to this whole celebrity thing, and it's like if there is any celebrity you would date if you wasn't married, who would? And she names two of them. She names Prince, of course, and which I like used to call her Prince's sister because they was like the same height. I took her to Prince's concert, and we was in the very front row. Prince comes down to change, right, and he's standing right next to us, basically, and they're the same height.
Yeah. he probably had high heels on too.
And he had high heels on.
Yeah.
So I used to call her Prince, but so that didn't surprise me because she showed me her love for Prince there. Yeah. But then we was talking. This is not a long ago conversation about Method Man. Though she says, "Well, to be honest with you, Method Man." I was like, "All right, no more Wu-Tang in this house." Wu-Tang, but they're gonna be.
But all you gotta. So you should have your celebrity list as well.
Oh, listen. She knows who they are.
Okay, so.
But it's okay for the man to say it. It's not okay for the woman.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
She knows who it is.
Yeah.
I make no secret about that. I always say that if somebody ever says Stacey was cheating, if the other person's name is not either Rihanna, Sanaa Lathan, then it didn't happen. You can already dismiss it.
Yeah.
You can dismiss it. It didn't happen.
You lied.
Right. They lying if it's not Rihanna or Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah.
Or Naomi Campbell.
Nia Long, boy.
No, those are my three. Naomi Campbell because she's crazy.
Long.
Yeah. No. I mean, I like Nia Long, but not. I'm just saying that's my list. If it's not one of those three.
Yeah. Well, I'm
one of those three. Naomi Campbell, Rihanna.
Oh, you're brave because Naomi's a nutcase.
Yeah, she's totally nuts. She's. Greer says all she got to do is ask me if it's true. Listen, I'm just telling you right now, those are my girls. Sanaa, Naomi, and Rihanna.
Nia Long.
Nia Long is your weakness?
Oh, them bow legs, trouble. Yeah.
She's single, but you're not.
I'm not. I stopped looking. I ain't looking nowhere.
Yeah, that's good.
I can admire them from afar.
But the concert, we got all of the concert is today at the White House. Is a Juneteenth concert. It's part of also Audrey, let's just tell you who else will be there. Jennifer Hudson, Method Man, Audra McDonald, Step Africa will perform. Coleman Domingo Lettucey is going to perform at the White House as well. Patina Miller and the Tennessee State University Marching Band will perform. President Biden signed into law in 2021, making Juneteenth a national holiday. He designated June 19th as National Independence Day. And he also early this month had signed a proclamation about Black Music Appreciation Month, talking about how Black music Black artists done so much, not just for the culture, but for the entire world. So kudos to the administration. I know the vice president and everyone else will be there jamming out today at the White House. So Angela Connelly says this conversation is going to lead to no dinner. Well, my wife is away, so somebody's got to feed me. I invited my sister out. She says no. So anyway,
Hey, come on down here. We feed you.
that's right, Barrington. We got to get some oxtails.
Yeah, but that's your fault because we keep on inviting and you too busy.
You keep saying oxtails and rum, and that's the problem. You know what the drink got to be.
I don't care. You can drink what you want. I'll be drinking rum.
Oh boy.
So
I'm gonna see what Greer's cooking.
Open invitation.
I'm gonna see what Greer's cooking. Maybe I'll go down to Greer.
Can Greer cook?
I'm pretty sure she can.
Oh, I don't make any assumptions. I'm not passing any aspersions on Greer. But Greer would have to tell me that.
Oh my God, it's a wrap. She says it's potato chips and oatmeal. I'm done.
See?
Potato chips. We're done. We're done here, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.